Hey guys, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today my guest is Cali Reseller Luis. How are you doing today, brother?
Good, good. How you doing, Jeff? I'm doing good, man. Busy Friday for me.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So, how are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Good, I'm good. Like I said, I woke up early, the same as usual. Patch some orders in the morning and print some labels. Then I did the live with Johnny this morning, and then after that, I got my kids going with their online schooling, and just doing my daily routine. Being the full-time reseller, and then doing my dad duties, and then helping the kids out with their schooling and stuff. So we're doing it.
All right, awesome, awesome. Well, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us today. Go ahead and
Yeah.
introduce yourself to our audience in case they don't know who you are.
Yeah. Cali Reseller Luis. I'm a full-time reseller from California, obviously with the Cali in my name. I've been reselling for a very long time. I've been on the online platforms like Mercari and eBay for many years, and I've been pretty much a reseller since I was 8 years old. So it's been in my blood, thanks to my dad. My dad was the original reseller that got me into the whole reselling thing. Going with him to the flea markets on the weekends, almost every weekend, he would fix broken refrigerators, washers, and dryers that he will find in the street, fix them up, and then sell them on the swap meet on the weekends. So that's where I got my whole motivation to be,
Yeah,
to be a reseller.
yeah. Well, the good thing is that it kind of lets you, kind of be your own boss and make your own schedule, so you can spend more time with your family. But the hard
Yeah.
part is you have to kind of be disciplined because, at the same
Yep.
point in time, you got to be disciplined and being like, hey, I've got to buckle down and get my work done. I can't sit back and watch,
Yep.
TV and watch HBO or something, and then all of a
Nope.
sudden, your 30 minutes of watching Game of Thrones turns into 3-4 hours, and then
Yeah,
there goes your day,
exactly.
and you got nothing listed. You didn't get your packages shipped out, so you got to kind of
Yep.
be on the straight and narrow, man. So hey, let's
Definitely.
first say hey. We got a bunch of people in the chat today, so
Yeah.
let's say hey to everybody. We have the Lone Star Picker is here. He says, "Let's go."
Hey,
Ebliss
Louis.
Reseller Solutions says, "Hey guys, thanks for the live today, Dave and Lori. Hey, thank you guys for coming by and hanging out today.
Hey,
We
guys.
have Jennifer Hayes is here, so I wanted to say
Hey.
hey to Jennifer, and
Hello,
we have
Jennifer.
the Carolina lady, and we have Rescue Resell is here today. Says Happy
Yeah.
Friday,
Hello, Renee.
and my little brother is here in the chat. He says hello, everybody.
Hey, how you
So,
doing?
um, so Louise, now kind of get into. I want to talk to you a little bit about your backstory because how long have you
Okay.
been a full-time reseller now?
I've been a full-time reseller now for about 7 years now. Since I had a regular 9 to 5 job, and I got laid off when they started doing the cuts on the company. And so when that happened, and we were between me and my wife, we were paying a little bit over $1,000 in childcare a month. So with me losing my job, and I was doing reselling part time as I was working full time. We came to the conclusion that my wife just said, you know what, you're good at what you do with the reselling. Why don't you just do that full time and be home with the kids? And that would also save us $1,000 a month that we're spending on childcare on top of it. So it was a no brainer for me just to do this full time. Oh, I think we lost it. There he is.
Hey, internet is freezing up. Let me try to switch my connection. It's freezing up. I'll be right back. Okay. I don't know what
Yeah, no,
happened. Just give me 1 second, okay?
yeah, go ahead, Jeff. No worries.
Uh,
All right. Appreciate you guys coming out today. I mean, while Jeff figures out his internet situation, hope you guys are having a good Friday. We're going. Oh, there he is.
there we go. Can you hear me
There you
now?
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
yeah. You
internet
sound.
started lagging really bad. I don't know if you could tell,
Yeah,
but it
no, you're good. I can hear you
started
clear.
freezing up on me. So what company were you working at? Like, what were you doing before you switched over to being a full-time reseller?
I was actually working at FCA, which is Fiat Chrysler Automotive. I was working for the actual distribution center out here in the West Coast, and due to budget cuts and they weren't doing so well with car sales and all that. I mean, I was working at the warehouse where they distribute all the parts to all the different dealerships. Pretty much from California all the way to Michigan and all that to Mexico. So, but because of the budget cuts, I was one of the ones that was let go because of it. So, yeah, that's what I used to do before I transitioned to becoming a full-time reseller.
So they got to the point where they were going to have a downsizing and laying people off. And then it
Yeah.
got to the point where you sit down and talk to your wife and be like, hey, we're paying
Yep.
XYZ number of dollars every
Yep.
month in daycare anyways. Maybe
Yep.
we should try this transition, because you were already doing it part time on the
Part
side,
time.
and you
Yeah.
were just like, hey, if I dedicate the same amount of hours as I do my full time job into
Hmm.
kind of transition into reselling, you're like, I
Yep.
should be able to make up the money. Plus, you got to
Hmm.
subtract the money that you were paying for the
Yep.
daycare anyway, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So when you talk to your wife about it, was she on board, or was she just like, no, you need to get a job? Like, how did
No,
that
my wife's
discussion go?
actually, she's been very supportive of what I do because she knows that I know what I'm doing. I'm not just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a reseller," but I'm just sitting in the couch all day not doing anything. She knows that I get up early, I do what I have to do, I take care of business, and when I go sourcing, I source and I do what I do. I mean, right now with everything that I'm doing, since I became a full-time reseller, it took me like maybe about a month or so after I got laid off to actually continue paying the mortgage. So all the stuff that I do with reselling pays my mortgage every month. So
Okay, awesome. Now, how did everything go for you, like transitioning? Because I know this has been like your full time gig for the past 7 years, but
mm,
like last year in 2020, we had this whole lockdown thing, and it was like, you know how it was. People couldn't really leave their houses,
yeah,
so I mean, it's kind of hard to put a damper on going out sourcing. And you're like,
yep,
hey, I have to pay my mortgage. I got bills to pay. I got to help support my family. So, kind of,
yeah.
how did that affect you with everything that you were trying to do when you had this whole lockdown? And how did things go? Because for me, the items that I was selling when we had the lockdown, my
Mm,
sales went from here and went like up. So how
yeah,
did it go for you? Do you have an increase in sales, or how did it go
yeah,
with you?
yeah. Definitely, the increase in sales were there because everybody was doing all their shopping online. So the sales will definitely increase from like 75% up to 200%. I know us as resellers, we saw that growth in sales. Sourcing wise, I was doing a lot of online retail arbitrage, and also I do like the full wholesale pallets with my connection that I have for brand new toys. So when all that happened, I had enough inventory to get me through that period of that pandemic where I didn't really have to go out and really source for inventory because I had a lot of it here. So, but yeah, definitely, it does affect your business because if you rely, how people do retail arbitrage and stuff, and go to yard sales and stuff. I love going to yard sales and garage sales. Those are the best places to source. So, not to be able to do that for a full year was hard, But now that everything's opening up, I've been hitting up the yard sales, the last couple of weeks. So I'm glad things are starting to open up a little bit more now.
Yeah, that's good. So, what are some of your favorite items that you like to sell on your eBay store? Because you're selling both on Macari and on eBay, and you have an auction that you do as well. So, what are some
Yeah.
of the favorite items that you like to sell?
Or my main niche has always been toys. So that's one thing I've always had my hands on with toys. So Macari saw a lot of toys and video games and pretty much anything, brand new on Macari. I was off of eBay for a few years. I just got back on eBay this January, so I'm picking that up again with the brand new toys, and that's pretty much my main niche. But I'm a reseller, so I always keep my eye open for anything I could get, to sell, like calculators or video games, a little bit of everything.
Right, just whatever if you can come across a good deal. So,
Yeah,
hey, let me
definitely.
say hello to a few people in the chat. I'm sorry if I missed you guys. I've been having internet connection issues today, so I want to say hey to Ella is in the chat. Say if you're
Hi,
first.
Ella.
I wanted to say hey to Rescue Resell is in the chat. I wanted to say hey to the Early Bird is here. Louie, your buddy the Lone Star Picker is here. You
Hey,
guys
what's up,
have
Louis?
have a show on Mondays, and I think you
Yeah,
guys have Joey Bada Bing coming up, right? On
yeah,
Monday coming up.
we have Joey Bada Bing this Monday. Yeah, yeah, it's actually on Louis' channel this week. So, but yeah, Joey Bada Bing will be on with us on Monday. So that should be a very electrified, like I tell Louis, live because he's full of energy. So it should be a great live.
Okay, cool. I wanted to say hey to the Carolina lady, and Lone Star Picker says, "Hey Jeff, I have a question for Louise. What is the first thing that you sold in the beginning when he got started, and was it something that he didn't like selling? And what is the best sell ever?" So he's got like three different questions for
It's
you.
like three questions in one there, huh?
Looks like
All right.
that.
The first thing I sold, what was the first thing you saw at the beginning? Well, I don't know if he's talking about doing it online or when I started back years ago, but my first sale I did when I was a kid, I sold. I bought a big duffel bag full of regular pins. I remember I paid like, I don't know, like $10, I think, for a whole duffel bag of pins back then. I was 8 years old, so, and I was selling the pins 10 for $1. And I remember I had like 400 or 500 pins in the little duffel bag. So I gotta say that was my first one as a kid. And now, to fast forward now, when I started reselling, I think one of my best sales that I think that I made a good profit was on a 99 cent CD that I sold for $240. So that was my best one so
Yeah, he
far
wanted
this
to
year.
know, is there anything that you don't like selling?
I'm pretty much open to selling anything as long as I educate myself on what it is. Then I'm not afraid to get into different stuff, because I know we us as resellers, everyone has their different niche, and I like to always keep my mind open and always learn new stuff that I don't know. So I mean, one of the things that Josh Flips Finds Fun talked about a while back was yarn, that sewing yarn. I didn't really know much about it, so I kind of been studying that a little bit more and kind of been getting more familiar with that, because you do come across that at the thrift stores a lot. So
All right, cool. Yeah, one thing we just touched on a minute ago is like I wanted to talk a little bit about your YouTube channel that you have. Tell people if they come by and check out your YouTube channel, like when did you get started on YouTube? Like what kind of got you motivated to start your YouTube channel? And if they come by and check you out, what will they find on your YouTube channel?
yeah, well, I've been on YouTube for a little bit over a year now. I passed a year mark in March, so I get about a year and 2 months. So that's when I actually started doing content on YouTube. I started with the what sold videos and stuff. Yeah, just got encouraged. Just Global Voodoo, he was my mentor, and he's the one that told me, hey, why don't you start doing videos and kind of document what you're doing, you know, so like that you have something to share, and you get into the whole YouTube thing. So I didn't really think about it at first. I just started doing it. So after that, it becomes normal. But to fast forward now, I have a little bit of everything. I'll do what sold videos. I do my sourcing videos at the yard sales, estate sales. Also, when I go to the Goodwills or Savers, and then I also do the baseball cards videos that I have. Just a little bit of everything. I actually did a video in Spanish. I don't know if you came across it, but I did a Spanish one because a lot of Spanish speaking resellers were like reaching out to me and like, hey, when are you going to do some content for the Spanish speaking, resellers? So I'm like, sure, I'll do it. Like a get started video on how to become a reseller. And that's what I did. So I got two videos that I already finished in Spanish. I just have to finish doing the edits so I could actually post them up.
Okay, good. Now I wanted to talk to you about something. I haven't had time to really talk to you one-on-one, but
Yeah.
we've got to find out the backstory of how did you guys start your Mindful Merchant show on Mondays? Like, or how did that work? Did the Lone Star Picker, did Louis reach out to you? Did you reach out to him? Were you just like, hey, let's go ahead and start this show together? Like, how did that get started?
Well, yeah, I mean, when I met Louis, of course, I met him just like everybody else on YouTube, and we started messaging back and forth on Instagram, just like sharing stuff like here and there, like reseller stuff, and through all that, we became friends. And one day when we were talking, we are like, hey, there's nothing out there that kind of talks about the mindfulness and stuff about resellers and mental well-being and all that. He's like, maybe that'll be something that'll be interesting for us to talk about and do, like an hour live and just bring in different resellers and just, share their experiences with reselling. And then with the pandemic at the time. And, we just decided, we say, hey, let's give it a shot. Let's see where it goes. And now we're like 32 episodes in, so, and we were able to have Emily Conway was our first guest. So that even made it a good thing to when we got it started.
Yeah, I try to come by whenever I get a chance, to come by and show support for the show. If you guys didn't get a chance to check it out, the links are down below for his YouTube and Instagram. You can check out their show. Like I said, I think they have Joey Bada is going to be on Monday.
Yeah, he's going to be on Monday with us. Yeah.
All right, cool. Wanted to say hey to the Philly Flipper is here. He says Louise, and I wanted to say hey to Jen's Closet Jim just stopped by. She says, hey Louise and Jeff, what's up? Lone Star Picker, he says, this guy is busy as of late. We haven't had a chance to talk, but he works his butt off and doesn't let anybody tell you different. He knows how to balance too. We have a question real quick from Jim's Closet. Jim says, talk about your vending machines hustle, please. Why, how, and how long, profits, etc. So we got another like 3-part question here for you. So kind of talk to us a little bit about that. So besides shooting YouTube videos and besides being a full-time reseller and a full-time,
Yep.
dad, how
Mhm.
is this vending machine business going? Like, how did you get started with this vending machine business, and kind of tell us the whole backstory of how you got started and how that's been
Mhm.
going for you?
Yeah, the candy vending machine business I started about a year ago, and it got me interested. Got me interested in is say hi real quick. Hi. That's my son. Sorry. All right, go back to class. Go ahead. Go finish it. Sorry, he always pops in and says hi. And like I said, I got interested in it because when Reyes, the entrepreneur, used to do the candy vending machines a couple years back, that's what got me interested in it. So I went ahead and I bought my first machine, and I found the location. I started off with one, and then after it's like, okay, we did a month collection for that one, and I think we made like $35 in quarters that month. So we got another machine, and then we just kept adding. Right now I have a total of 8 machines out. I have three brand new machines here at my house that I still got to place. Now that everything's starting to open up, I need to go out and place these. But yeah, to fast forward with that, it's not a lot of capital to start with the candy vending machines. You could get a brand new machine for under $100. And I do gumballs because gumballs, you make more profit on them because you pay 25 cents for each gumball, and a box of gumballs, I think it has like 890 gumballs in a box. So you can split one box between 3 or 4 machines to fill them up, and one machine holds about 180, 200 gumballs. So at a quarter a piece, you could do the math, But yeah, all that we started that has my kids. That's my kids' little side hustle thing that I started for them before the pandemic. They're the ones they would go with me, clean the machines, and they'll take the quarters out and all that. But when the pandemic stuff came, I just started doing it on my own. And I do have a separate channel for that, for my gumball machines, where I do my collections and stuff. So if people are more interested to know a little bit more about it, they could check out the channel. I'll drop the link right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, how has that been going for you? Like, how did you go about finding these locations for your vending machine business? Like, when you had these gumball machines or candy machines, like, do you just knock door to door, or do you just put the word out like, hey, I'm just looking for a location, let me know if you have anything, or how did that go?
No, it's just the first location that I got. It's a local pizza place that's 2 blocks away from my house. We would frequently go there to get pizza sometimes for the kids. And I became, I always say hi to the owner all the time. And every time we would go, my kids are like, how come they don't have no gumball machines or no toy machines in here? So, to fast forward, when I got into the candy vending machines, I talked to the owner, and he goes, yeah, that's fine. He goes, I need some. I don't have any here. And I'm like, yeah, because my kids, every time we come, they say, you never have any. So I started off with a small gumball machine. And right now I have a five rack. It's a rack that has the 2 big machines on top and 3 in the bottom. They have the toys on top, and then on the bottom they have like the little bouncy balls and stuff. And I have a big spiral gumball machine. I don't know if you've seen those at the supermarket. Those big ones.
The one that's like 8 foot tall or something. The real big one.
I have one of those in there too, and they've been doing great since we've been there. And he doesn't ask for no commission, so because he sees it as I'm doing him a service. Because he doesn't have to worry about servicing the machines or anything. So,
well, that's nice. And I think Jen wanted to know about what is your profits usually on one of these machines, like in an average month?
When we started, of course, it didn't start off as big. We were, when I started with the one machine, it was a $35 collection for the first month. And now, right now with the location that I just collected, I just put out a video about a week ago. For my pizza location, I made almost $300 in a month collection. So
really, all right.
Yeah, like I said, I put the video out. I'll drop the link right now. Jennifer's asking. It's called M. Lou Candy Vending, EMLEW, and then Candy Vending.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Reyes the Entrepreneur. I had him on my channel a couple months ago. So if you guys did get a chance to check him out, Reyes the Entrepreneur's channel, he has a great channel. He talks about different ways that you can make money on the side, and he has different entrepreneurs on about every week. So let's say hey to a few people in the chat. We have Carolina Lady is here. We have Rescue Resellers in the chat. Hey, your buddy is here, Hollywood Reseller. You guys had a meetup not too long ago,
what's up,
right?
Dino?
You guys
Yeah,
went and did
we did.
a yard sale run, and you filmed it on YouTube. How did that
Yeah,
go?
actually pretty. It was awesome. It was Hollywood Reseller, myself, one day at a time reseller. Derek was there too. Fundamentals of Side Hustling, Miss Taffy, and then Marcus, another reseller too. So yeah, it was a good time. We got to hang out. We hit the yard sales up. We hit up some estate sales. We got to hang out. It was a good time.
Okay, cool. I wanted to say hey to Jen's Closet Gems. I wanted to say hey to Regina, just stopped by. Hey, Regina. She says, hey, Jeff and Louise. We have
Hi, Regina.
Sal just stopped by. He says, yep, I do gumballs as well. I wanted to
Yep.
give a shout out to Wendy, just stopped by. She says, hey, Louise and Jeff.
Hey,
Jennifer
Wendy.
Hayes is here in the chat. The Lone Star Picker says, I couldn't do the Mindful Merchants without Louise. He keeps me from freaking out on the guests. You guys have that good yin and yang chemistry, so that's
Yeah.
always good to have people to bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
We have Jen's Closet Gym. She says, is it hard to find somewhere to place them? Does the business charge a lot, or is there even a rent fee? So I guess it would depend on the location, right? So can you, because Jen still has a few more questions about it, can you
Yeah.
talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, right now on the locations that I have, I'm not paying no fees on any of the locations because they're all, coin operated, so they're not using no electricity or nothing, and doesn't take up that much space. So they're not really asking for commission. As if it was like an actual like a snack vending machine that uses electricity and all that stuff, then that's when they usually ask for, a commission and stuff. But for right now they don't. As long, like I said, most of them are actually kind of glad that you offer the service to them because it's one less thing they need to worry about, and they can concentrate on running their business, and they don't have to worry about cleaning the machines and checking on the machines and all, because I check on the machines every week. I go by and I clean them up, and if they need to be refilled, I'll refill the gumballs or either toys, whatever gets low on them. But yeah, but for right now, I'm not paying no fees on any of my locations right now.
Oh, okay, cool. Wanted to say hey to eBliss Reseller Solutions. He says having your kids involved is great. Wanted to say hey to Jen's Closet Gyms. Jennifer says, what is the name of the channel? Oh, she said she found it, dropped it in the
Yeah, she
link.
found it.
Yeah, and we have a question here from eBliss Reseller Solutions. He says, how often do you need to repair or replace the machine? So does it happen often where a piece breaks and you have to go get it repaired or worked on, or no?
The most common issue that we do come along with is when the kids start sticking pennies or dimes into the little quarter slot, or they'll put like two or three pennies, and when they try to switch it and they lock it up, then you have to
Yeah.
kind of go and just pull out those pennies and just unlock it, and that's it. But I've never had any major issues with any of my machines because all of my machines that I bought are brand new, so I haven't had any issues with any of my machines. So
Okay, cool. I want to give a shout out to Jennifer Hayes. The Hollywood Reseller is here hanging out with us. And Jen's Closet Gym says, wow, that's awesome. My mind is working right now. Well, awesome. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us today. So, Cali Reseller Luis, man, I got to ask you a few questions, man. How is things going? Like, talk to me about how your regular, like, average day goes, because you said earlier you have a mortgage, you have bills you have to pay. Well, we
yep,
all do, but then you also
yep,
have to take care of your family. So, like,
yep.
you have to get up. Like today, you said you had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So when you're not shooting YouTube videos, like, what does like your average day look like? Because you have to get up. Because just kind of walk me through your schedule. Because you got to get up, get the kids ready for school in the morning. You have to
Yeah.
ship out your packages. You have a lot of things going on. So kind of talk to me about what your typical day looks like.
Yeah, my typical day doesn't. I mean, it starts around 5 a.m., 5:30 in the morning, depending on what time I go to bed the night before. Because there's times where I'll go to bed like at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, depending on what I'm doing. Because I usually, like I said, I have to kind of plan my day out because I have so much going on. So in the morning, that's what I do. I'll get up, I'll get dressed, brush my teeth, wash up and all that. Then I'll start, checking what's sold on eBay and Macari, and then start packing, start printing labels. And so usually from between 5:30 and 7, that's what I'm doing. When 7 o'clock comes out around, and the kids get up, so they got to get up, feed them breakfast, start them, get them ready for school. Once 8 o'clock hits, it's like, okay, time to log on to all their online schooling. And pretty much once they're online, I have where I'm sitting now, my son, I'll have him sit here, and then in the room back here where the door's open, I'll have my daughter sitting there. So I'm listening to both of them as I'm working at the same time. So I got to multitask. especially if I have more orders come in, or especially when I have auctions. So from the night before, then I have to be packing anything that I sell, and printing labels and doing all that stuff. So that's just my morning, from then till like 10. And then once lunchtime comes, feed them lunch. I'll eat myself, and if I have to run any errands or anything with them, we'll go to the store and then come back, and then finish with their schooling, and then kind of get them, with their homework. And then if more orders come in, same routine, just keep packing. And once all that slows down, then if I took the pictures the night before, then I'll start listing. I'll sit down while my son is doing homework, and I'm literally just listing and listening to him, just to make sure he doesn't need any help with his homework. So it's like Louis says, I'm nonstop. It's a nonstop thing with the kids, but it's got to be done. And that's one thing that I'm glad my dad taught me, that hard work pays off, and to never settle for less. Always try to do more for yourself and for your family, and just to move your family forward.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my internet connection cut out again. So,
No, that's fine.
so Luis, so so you get up in the morning, you get your kids ready for school in the morning. You have all your items and stuff ready to be shipped out and ready to go. And then in the afternoon, when the kids get done with their school, like, what happens then? Do you like help cook dinner? Like, do you help them with their homework? Like, talk about how that works for you.
Yeah. I gotta help them with homework. Like I was saying, when they do homework, I'll sit next to them, and I'm listing, since I take pictures the night before. So I'll start listing stuff while I'm sitting next to my son doing homework, and my daughter. So if they need help with their homework, I could just put the phone down and just, okay, help them out, and then I'll continue. So any little time I get, I'm always using it to list on Mercari, or list on eBay, or something selling on OfferUp, or someone's messaging me on OfferUp. That's when I do all the back and forth messaging or shipping too. So yeah, every little time I get, I utilize it to do something, even if I don't have anything else going on. It's like, okay, everything's good. The kid's finished. Okay, let me get some more stuff. Let me take some more pictures, and then let's continue listing. So
yeah, that's good to kind of have maybe drafts ready to go, or kind of have photos front and back of items that you're going to list. And then later, when you have some free time, you could go through and list some items. So we have some people that dropped in the chat. We have Celeste Lyons just stopped by. She says,
hello,
hey,
Celestine.
Louise. And we have Jennifer Hayes is here. Jen's Closet Gems is here. Wendy has a question. She says, when do you source, and do you go to thrift stores or source online? So talk a little bit about your sourcing strategy. When exactly do you source, and where do you like to go sourcing that? Do you like to go to a lot of thrift stores, yard sales? Like, what are some of the places that you like to go sourcing at? I know earlier you talked about that you order pallets of merchandise as well.
Yeah, that's one of my main sources when I get the wholesale pallets. That's one. And second, of course, I love to go to the thrift stores. Sometimes during the daytime, my father-in-law will call me and ask me, hey, if you need to run some errands or you need to go do some stuff, I'll stop by and I'll watch the kids, so you could go ahead and do what you do. Because he knows what I do, and he respects what I do, because he says, you're not just sitting here with your hands out like this. You're actually going out there and you're making things happen. So he really supports, the whole thing with me doing the full-time reselling, and I know I had this conversation with Louis a couple of days ago, how, some of her family members didn't really agree with the whole reselling thing, because they don't understand it. They think you're just selling people's trash. That's the way they see it, And it's funny because, fast forward to now, those are the same people that are asking me, teach me how to resell, So I'm like, I can't teach you how to resell. You have to be willing to put in the work. It's not just something that I'm just going to write on a textbook and say, here you go. No, you actually got to go out there and you got to put in the work to do it. But to answer the question, I do go to thrift stores. I go to, to garage sales, to everything. So that's always been my stuff, to go thrifting, and always go to the yard sales and garage sales. I think you find some of the best stuff at the yard sales.
Yeah, when I was getting started, the one thing that kind of threw a curveball at me is I was like, oh, this is easy. I can make money shipping out packages online. So I would go do that, and I wasn't even worried about the eBay fees. I wasn't worried about shipping. I wasn't worried about none of that. The one thing that caught a curveball to me was to be like, okay, you made $800 or you made $1,000 reselling, and then you're just like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not making any sales. So then you have to sit here, and it takes a few minutes, and you're like, oh, I get it. You have to take that money that you made and profit and take a good portion of that and reinvest it to get more merchandise.
Exactly.
Because on the surface, it's almost like when you work a job and your job says, oh, you made $1,800, $2,000 this week gross on your paycheck. And then when that time they take out your state, local, federal taxes, you start off with this much and you're left with this much. Well, like in reselling, it might say, hey, you made $1,000 this week or this month reselling, but then you're like, oh, well, I got to take a good chunk of that and put it back into a business, because if not, your sales are going to decline because you're not going to have nothing listed for sale. So to me, that was like the biggest wake up call, because I was like, oh man, this is easy. Anybody could do this. And then you start realizing, you're like, okay, I had to take out my cost of goods. I had to pay my eBay fees. I had to pay PayPal fees back in the day. Then I had to cover the shipping costs. And then I was like, okay, now I have to pay my bills for me to live. And then I was just like, oh, wait a minute. Now I have this much left over, and I have to take this much of it and reinvest it to buy more merchandise. So that's the one thing where it's kind of like, you know, and you're like, oh, this is great. And then you're just like, oh, wait a minute. You know, that's the thing that people don't really take into consideration. Yeah, I think when you're first getting started or you're trying to get used to it, you know, you're like, hey, I made so much money reselling. But then you're like, oh, wait a minute. That was just me selling stuff I had laying around the house. So I didn't have any capital upfront spent on buying the merchandise. So that's the one thing where you just have to kind of constantly be, you know, reinvesting money back in your business in order for it to grow, because you don't want to get to the point where you're like, okay, you know, last month I had 100 items listed. Maybe I sold 10, and the next month you're at 90. You have to continuously be listing more items and reinvesting back in your business. So we got a question here from Lone Star Picker. He says, ask Louise, what is some of the best reseller lessons that you have learned, and what would you suggest to new resellers who is starting out? And he wants to know, most importantly, what is your favorite candy bar? So we'll try to answer the first question first, and then we'll figure out about what is Louise's favorite candy bar. We got it. This is an important question here.
Well, the important for the first question. One of the main things that you could learn about the best reseller lessons is always keep your personal money separate from your business money. Don't do this. Don't combine it. Because a lot of people, they do this and then it just becomes a mess. Don't do it. You know, whatever, you know, like Jeff was just talking about, once you get your money and you take out the cost and, you know, whatever money you have left over, then you take your money that's going to be for you, for your bills and all that, for your personal, and then you keep your money for your sourcing and your business. And just that's one practice that, you know, I encourage people to do, because it makes it a lot easier. Because when you mix your personal money with your business money, it's just it's a big headache. So, but yeah, that's the best lesson that I've learned, that I was taught, you know, by Global Voodoo. He was, like I said, he was my mentor. So that's one important lesson that he always told me: keep them separate, don't combine them. And let's see, he would suggest to a new reseller is don't be intimidated by all the big resellers. You know, I don't consider myself a big reseller. I'm just me. That's the way I see it. You know, I'm very approachable. People have found that out lately. You know, when they hit me up on Instagram, I respond to everybody. So, like I said, don't be intimidated. You don't have to have a big, you know, capital to start. You can start off small. You can start off, you know, reselling stuff from the Dollar Tree. I know me and you've had that conversation before, Jeff. And, you know, start off small, you know, flip some stuff, you know, reinvest that money, and then save some more money and reinvest until you start building enough capital to actually start getting the bigger stuff. And just take it from there, you know. And Louis, a question about my favorite candy bar. I'm not really big on candy. So, but the candy bar I used to eat when I was a kid was a Nestle Crunch bar. That was my go-to.
Okay, cool. We have a question from Hollywood Reseller. He says, any type of items in mind do you avoid?
Should avoid. There's a few things that, you know, you could avoid. Yeah, that not really money makers. That it could be money pits, you could say. You know, I know the Beanie Babies. You know, people say, oh yeah, they're making a comeback and they're good sellers. And you know, I know some people that are trying to unload some Beanie Babies right now because they have so many. They thought they were going to be, you know, sell fast, and they haven't. So I think, to me personally, I don't really deal with Beanie Babies because I know some of them do become long tail. But you know, that's one thing you should avoid, definitely. Oops, we lost. All right. While Jeff comes back in, feel free to ask me some questions, guys. He'll be right back. And yeah, there he is.
Oh, back. So,
Yeah.
Cali Reseller Luis, I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about a few questions about buying pallets and wholesale merchandise
Yeah.
of like pallets, because you said you buy toys. So, kind of walk
Yeah.
us through that process of how that works. If someone was interested in buying pallets, because I don't want people to go in blind to being like, "Hey, I watched Cali Reseller Luis, and he said I could get a good deal on buying this pallet, and I spent $500-$600 on this pallet, and then it just busted." So it's kind of it's kind of one of those things where you're just like you gotta be kind of look at the a manifest of what you're getting in this pilot, and kind of like
Yeah.
you try to find something locally as well, because you don't want to have you don't want to pay, okay, let's say I paid $500 for this pilot, and then I paid
Mhm.
another 400 or 500 to have it shipped to my door, so now
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
like cost of goods is basically
Yeah.
double of what it was. So can you talk a little bit about your strategy of wholesaling and buying pallets of merchandise, because you get stuff that's like, it's not like Amazon returns. It's like shelf
Nope.
full. It's like stuff that's new in the box, right?
Yeah, it's brand new stuff. I don't all the stuff I get from the pallets, it's all brand new inventory. The guy that I buy them from, he's actually an old reseller that I've known for a few years that I reconnected with. His father was the one that was running the business until he retired, and he took over the business pretty much. So when I reconnected with him and I told him I was doing the full-time reselling, he goes, dude, if you want to interested in buying new pallets of toys, let me know. So when I went over to his warehouse one day, he showed me what he had, and I said, sure. I started off buying like 2 pallets when I started. And then right now, I think I'm buying anywhere between, on the low end, maybe like 28 pallets, and the high end, maybe 40. But my thing, the way I do it is I receive them that morning, and then when they drop off everything at my house in the driveway, I have the guys that are already going to buy them come and pick them up the same day. So I don't sit on them. So they get here, and then I push them out.
Okay. Now, can you drop any kind of knowledge on somebody? You have any tips or tricks or any kind of things that you could give people advice if they want to start buying wholesale pallets of merchandise? As what you're saying is, let's say if you bought 20 pallets, you might
Yeah.
keep 10 of them for yourself to resell,
Mhm.
and then maybe
Yeah.
the other 10 you might sell to another person. Maybe they have a flea market, or they have something on the side, and they buy
Yeah.
maybe half of the merchandise that you got. So then that way you can offload it and then kind of get your money back that you have tied up in the
Yep.
pallets. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I have 3 buyers that buy pallets from me. I have 2 flea market guys, and I have a brick and mortar business owner that buys from me. So yeah, definitely. I always place an order every week. So pretty much, I'll hit them up a day before and ask them, hey, how many pallets are you gonna want for tomorrow? And they'll tell me, okay, I'll take 20. The other one would be like, I'll take 10 pallets. Maybe my brick and mortar guy might say, oh, I'm good for this week. Or maybe he'll just say, give me 1 pallet only. So, okay. And then I ask him, what do you guys want? Mixed toys and all that? Yeah, mix. And some would just say, I want Barbies. So others say, well, I want, monster trucks. So the good thing is with my wholesaler, he has a variety of different toys. So it's more flexible for me to get different kinds of toys to provide for them. So when they come, they already know what they're getting, and they load up and they're on their way. So, but yeah, that's usually how we do it. And one thing also that I want to mention, when you guys get into wholesale pallets, make sure what kind of wholesale pallets are, because I know Amazon returns, and then Home Depot pallets, or all those pallets, sometimes they're a mess. They come with broken stuff, and you never know what you're gonna get. So that's why I really just stick to all the brand new toys and all that stuff right now. Instead of that's why I don't really mess with the Amazon pallets or Target returns, like they say.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention, is that what Louise is saying is that, let's say if he orders 10 pallets, he may keep half of them and then resell half of them. So let's
Mhm.
say hypothetically, I don't know what you're paying cost of goods, but what I'm saying is that if he resells some of the pallets of merchandise that he has, that offsets his initial cost. So then
Yep.
basically, let's say if you had 10 pallets and you resold 5 and you kept 5, then that kind of
Mhm.
like knocks the price down of how much money you have tied up in the ones that you keep to resell. So it
Yep.
kind of like, then that way you have basically pennies on the dollar tied up in the
Mhm.
merchandise, instead of paying retail, instead of wholesale to retail prices. Like, here's
Mhm.
wholesale prices and yours is like here, because you're
Yep.
offsetting it by reselling some of these other
Exactly.
merchandise. So I had
Exactly.
a few questions in the chat. Jen's Closet Gems says she wants to know, do you invest in any type of stocks or crypto?
Not stock in crypto, but we do have stock in Walt Disney. We do have stock that my wife purchased a couple years ago. She actually got it for my kids. So we do own Disney stock right now. So that's the only stock we have. I know she's been looking into the crypto stuff and all that. We've been talking about it. So we just need to meet with our financial advisor about that before we actually make any decisions with investing in the crypto.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't have any money tied up in stocks or crypto right now. I have
Yeah.
other projects that I'm working on. So we have Kyle is in the chat today. We have a bunch of people in the chat. We have the Cap Guy is here. He says, "What's up, my
Hey,
brothers
Bobby.
Jeff and Louise? Hey, thanks, Cap Guy, for coming by and hanging out with us today. We appreciate you." Hey, Justin is here, the flipping accountant. He says, "Louise is the store all day today. What's up, everybody?"
Hey,
So
what's
you
up?
were on earlier with Johnny. How did that go with being on with Cajun Roots Reseller today?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. We had a great conversation. Had a lot of people come in the morning, and it was fun. You know, I always like coming into Johnny's. He was actually the first person that ever interviewed me, so it
Oh,
was
really?
nice. It was actually nice to come back after a year. It's been a year, so it was nice to to for him to ask me to come back. So
Yeah, I'm supposed to be on with Cajun Roots. I think 24th or 26th. I'll have to look at my calendar. And I'm
yeah,
not even a morning person, so you guys never know. You might see me stop by and hang out here one day. I'll just be like, "Today's guest is Jeff. What are you doing here?" And I'll be like, "I just woke up." So you never know who will stop by. That's the great thing about it. So
yep,
I wanted to say
definitely.
hey to Regina's here, the Cap Guy. We have a question here from Hollywood Reseller. He says, "Any tips of which toys to avoid, if any?" So is there anything in particular that you would say that you try to shy away from?
Toy wise, I haven't really had any bad experience with the toys, especially when they're brand new. Because even if you're not really selling them, I always have the people that I could actually just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I have a pallet of these toys. I'll give you a good deal on them, and I'll still make my money back, and some on top of it because they're brand new." So yeah, I've never had any bad experience with toys. I know a lot of people say Legos are very expensive and they're very some are good and some are bad, but I think the Legos they all make money. So that's just from my experience. Everybody has a different experience with toys. So
Okay, cool. So I wanted to say hey to the Cap Guy, the flipping accountant is here. I wanted to say hey to Lazy 1616. Wanted to say hey to Sal is in the chat, Jen's Closet Gems, and Jennifer Hayes. So Louise, I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about what has been going on. What are some of the projects that you see for yourself in the future? Because I talked to you, I don't know, maybe it might have been 6 months ago. It's been a while, and you talked
yeah.
about maybe possibly having like your own warehouse and maybe expanding your resale business in the future. So can you talk about maybe some other projects that's coming up for you in the future?
Yeah, definitely. That's actually my next goal. That's what I'm working towards to right now to actually open my own warehouse where I could actually bring in more pallets of than what I'm getting now. And once I get that going, hopefully start opening and selling to like all the resellers, that want to buy. Where I'll be able to ship directly to you if you're out of state, because I know the shipping, doing with the trucks and all that, it's very expensive. So we're kind of I've been working on a method where I could ship a certain amount of stuff where it's going to cost you hopefully half of the price of paying an actual semi to bring it to your house. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm researching, and I've been kind of going back and forth, and I've been talking to a freight company that does all the shipping and all that, and kind of been working the details out. But I've also been looking around, checking out some leases on some warehouse, and I'm gonna start off with a small warehouse. I'm not gonna start off big, just to kind of get it going, and then once hopefully it does grow, then move into a bigger facility. But that's definitely one of my goals that I'm working towards too right now.
Yeah, warehouse space can be expensive. I just went online the other day and was just shopping around online just to see what's out there and see what it would cost. And some of
Yeah,
these places, you're looking at $2,000-3,000 a month, and that's irregardless of that's not counting water, electric,
yeah,
any other expenses. And have you
yeah.
thought about maybe possibly hiring some employees to help you in the future? Or are you going to try to be like keep it in the family or do like a one man show? Like, have you thought about that?
Yeah, well, eventually, when you grow like that, of course you have to take all that into consideration, the insurance, and then hiring employees, and all that good stuff, and then have someone taking care of your accounting. And I mean, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of steps that go into having that, doing this stuff. And then to answer Jen's question, yeah, part of having the warehouse, I'm also want to use part of the warehouse as an auction house too, where I could actually have auctions since I do the auctions now on YouTube, but I'll probably do auctions and we're, selling like more inventory, like bigger inventory, maybe pallets of toys. And instead of just doing one item, okay, we're going to do an auction of pallets, different stuff and all that. So all that stuff is just stuff that I've been considering to do. Like I said,
Uh-huh.
it's a work in progress, but like I said, I'm just being patient right now and just getting all my ducks in a row, like they say, moving in that direction.
Okay. So Luis, talk to me a little bit about your auction that you have on your YouTube channel. So if people don't know about it, kind of walk me through this process of how it works, just in case somebody else is like, hey, I have all this extra inventory laying around in
Mhm.
my garage or my house. I need to offload it. We're
Mhm.
having this summer slowdown. My merchandise is moving slowly. I need to
Yeah.
offload some merchandise and make some money. Kind of walk me through how this process works for you as far as doing this online auction. How has that been working for you so far?
Yeah, it's been good because I get to bring stuff to to other resellers and people that are just looking to buy stuff, and I bring new toys, I'll bring a variety of stuff, and it's a fun way to actually to interact with people. You actually get to communicate with people, and you're saying hi, you're talking to people in the chat, and then Louis, he joins me in the auctions every Tuesday. It's just great, especially I like to give deals to people. I like to bring good stuff, have a great time. And it's a good way to actually, get some inventory out, but actually get inventory out to other resellers that are also looking for inventory. So it's a win-win on both ends. And like I said, sometimes, people get some great deals or some steals, but it's all part of the game. That's why it's called an auction. And I'm glad that I get to do this on a weekly basis, because people tell me like, where do you get so much stuff? How do you always keep bringing different stuff? I have a lot of stuff. Just like I'm selling stuff and I'm getting stuff out, I'm getting stuff in at the same time. So it's a constant, cycle that just you got to keep going and going.
Well, what I like about it is it's a win-win for everybody. You're able to offload
Mhm.
some merchandise. You're able to help people
Mhm.
get good deals. You're able to move some merchandise. And
Yep.
also, one thing you didn't talk about, if somebody has a newer YouTube channel and they're
Mhm.
trying to get their 4,000 hours of watch time, that
Yeah.
also counts towards your watch time as well, right? So that's something to consider. So if you're like, man, I'm close to 1,000 subscribers, but I need
Yeah.
3,000 hours of watch time, you could
Yeah.
do an auction, and you would also get credit for your watch time as well. So
Yeah.
all that
No.
stuff adds up. So we have a question here from Lone Star Picker. He says, not so much the question as a fact. How does Cali Reseller Lewis? He's a straight-laced guy. He has been a great guy to learn from. Better yet, an awesome friend. Well, thank you for that, man. We appreciate
Yeah.
you
Thanks.
coming in and
Thanks,
hanging
Louis.
out with us. So Louise, man, talk to me couple of tips or tricks that you can pass down, because you said you had a mentor that kind of walked you through this process. If somebody wanted to
Mhm.
become a full-time reseller, or maybe they're just doing it part-time and they want to make more money on the side, maybe they're
Mhm.
just doing it part-time on the side. Do you have 2 or 3 tips that you can pass along that would help them grow their reselling business? Like, do you have any recommendations or some knowledge you could drop on us?
Well, recommendations, I could say, yeah. I mean, but it's like I said, when you're starting reselling, you're gonna make the mistakes. I know I did them. I know we all do, where we buy stuff and you think you're gonna make a profit on it, and then you end up losing money on it. So it happens. I've been doing this for many years, and it still happens to me once in a while. But one thing is, you got to stay humble. Always stay humble. In the beginning, it's because the thing with people starting to resell, they see all of us that are making these videos and making all this money. So they're thinking they're going to go in running and boom, they're going to be making all this money. But then they get a big reality check and see, damn, this is actually work. It's not just like you were talking about. It's not just an easy thing like, oh, sure, I can do this. But then there's different steps to take. Don't get discouraged. Put the work in, keep humble and just keep moving forward. And you got to treat this like a business. You can't just treat it just like any other thing. This is going to be your livelihood. If you're doing this full time, this is your livelihood. This is where you're going to pay your bills and feed your family and pay bills and all that. So you got to treat it as a business, because if you don't treat it as a business, you're never going to get nowhere. You're going to be stuck in that same spot, not making no money, and just sitting there with your arms crossed, thinking, what am I doing wrong? So I think that's the one lesson that I could share with people. Just treat it like a business.
Yeah, well, if you were earlier, Kelly Reseller Luis, that have a separate bank account to have your reselling business, and then have your
Yeah.
extra personal checking account to pay your bills with. So that's
Okay, buddy.
that's one
Good job.
one thing that would really help people a lot. So go ahead and tell people where they can find you at on YouTube and Instagram so they can stop by and check you out. I have your
Yeah,
links down below, but let them know where they can stop by and
yeah,
check you out.
definitely. You can find me on YouTube, Cali Reseller Luis. Also on Instagram. I know Jennifer's been dropping the links. Thank you, Jennifer. On Instagram and pretty much on what do you call it, on TikTok, and I'm also on Clubhouse. I joined.
Oh, and make sure to watch the TikTok when he bought the Garfield stuff.
Thanks, buddy. He's helping me promote a little bit. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I'll post TikToks and you know, just like I said, I'm on Clubhouse too. So I know a couple of you guys follow me on Clubhouse. We're gonna start trying to get some kind of reseller thing going on Clubhouse because I know there's a lot of Poshmark resellers, but there's not enough eBay or Mercari resellers on there. So they actually just dropped the app for the Android. So now people that have Android phones can join. So if you guys want to join Clubhouse, I have a couple of invites I could send you guys if you guys are interested. So, but yeah, I'm very on Instagram. You can find me anytime. If you guys have any questions or you just want to ask something and you don't want to say it right now in the chat, feel free to reach out to me. I've had a lot of people reach out to me. And, no question is a dumb question. That's the way I see it. So
Yeah.
feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to help you out or answer your question as best to my knowledge.
Yeah, sometimes I just reach out to Cali Reseller Luis. I don't even have any questions. Sometimes I'll just send him a message on Instagram, say, "Hey man, how are you doing? How is your day going? How is we just chit chat." And it's not even, they don't even say, "Hey, I need anything." I'll just be like, "Hey, how is your day going? How is your family doing?" So sometimes we'll just reach out and just to talk, to chit chat and see how things are going. So Jim's Closet Jim says, "Send me an invite, please." So Hollywood Reseller says, "What is Clubhouse?" It's like an app. It's like almost like a social media app. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because he wants to know what it is.
Yeah, it's a social media app. It's kind of like pretty like Twitter or anything else like that. You get people in there, and the cool thing is that you can actually, you know how me and Jeff are talking live right now. So we'll actually be able to talk live on the app, but we won't be able to see each other, but we could talk, in the app. So it gives you like a more personal, communication with someone instead of just typing through the chat. You're actually talking and hearing each other on there. So, and then everybody gets the girls on there. You could, let them talk, and you could bring in different people, and you could talk. The subject of the day could be like reselling or what new stuff to look for, or are you ready for fourth quarter? Stuff like that. It's just conversation to have, with other resellers.
So before we let you go, Cali Reseller Luis, there's one more topic that I really wanted to talk to you about. Talk to us. Tell us a little bit about some retail arbitrage, because I know both me and you shop a lot of the Dollar Tree, and people think that, I can't find any profits here at the Dollar Tree. I'm just wasting my time. And last time I had you on, we were doing a live listing. I went to the Dollar Tree just to scan some barcodes and look some stuff up, and you had like this little drink mix that you bought. I assume you bought at the Dollar Tree, and you're like, "Hey, do you know what this is?" And I was like, "I don't know. Is this like a deck of playing cards? I have no idea." And you're like, "No, this is like some A&W, drink mix drink." So talk to me a little bit about buying stuff, doing some retail arbitrage, and how you go about buying stuff, maybe from the Dollar Tree or the Dollar General, or you can get items for cheap and then resell them online. So can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like that's a perfect example what you're just talking about. Those little powder things that you put, they actually go into the bottle of water. You just put those little powder things, you pour them in. They come in the box, I think like 6, packs in there. You get those for $1 at the Dollar Tree. You could get like 4 boxes and bundle them up and sell them for like $18.99 on eBay. And they sell. People buy them because what we have here in California, Jeff might not have out there in Miami or in Florida. I'm sorry. And it's just vice versa. They might have stuff out in Florida that we don't have here in California. So it's just back and forth. It's just going in there and just expanding. Okay, go around, look, see, hey, scan stuff. Don't be afraid to scan stuff. That's one thing I always tell people. Your phone is always going to be one of your important tools to scan, because you never know what you could find to scan to actually resell, make a profit on it. And I know Jeff, is very well aware of that, because he does the same thing like I do. Like I said, like we talked before, you could buy DVDs for $1. You could buy Blu-rays for $1 at the Dollar Tree. I always tell people, don't underestimate the Dollar Tree. You could find a lot of good stuff at the Dollar Tree to make a good profit on.
Yeah, my thing is there's merchandise everywhere that you can get to flip and resell. We can show you places to go, things to do. I mean, there's so many, there's pawn shops, yard sales, estate sales, flea markets. There's
Mhm.
no short at retail arbitrage,
Nope,
online
there's always
arbitrage,
somewhere to buy.
buying
Yeah,
pallets, storage lockers. There's so much merchandise out here to get. We can show you where to get merchandise and how to list it, how to ship it. The one thing we can't show you is how to hustle. We can't put like
yeah,
this big Energizer
you can
battery in your back and like make you get up and do the
exactly.
work. But there's so many different opportunities, like Louise is saying, that you could go in and buy this little drink mix thing for $1 and then turn around. You could get 4 of them for $1 a piece and sell them for
Mhm.
$18.99, $20 on eBay. And then the
Yeah.
reason why I like that is once you get that one listing created on
Mhm.
eBay, and once you say, okay, I've got a 4-pack of these AMW root beer drinks. They're very small, they're
Mhm.
lightweight, they don't weigh over a
Yep.
pound. Now you have this
Yep.
listing that you can just resell over and over and over again
Exactly.
instead of you having to list 20, 30 items every single day in
Exactly.
your eBay store. You can maybe find 10 items that you can find locally at the Dollar Tree. Now they're
Yep.
replenishable items, and maybe those 10 items every week, every month, you can just sell for you every month over and over and over again, as opposed to you
Definitely.
running around like a dog chasing your tail where
Yeah,
you're constantly
exactly.
having to relist new items every single week. So let me say hey to a few people before we let you go. We got
Yeah.
Celeste Lyons is here. Says the jigsaw puzzles sell a decent price on eBay. A dollar at the Dollar Tree turns into $10.
Yep.
Regina says I was invited to Clubhouse and didn't even go on it. I may have to look at it again. Yeah, the thing is, you only have so many hours in a day. I like doing social media, but you
Mhm.
also have to like have a balance. Like you also have
Yep.
to be able to get everything done you need to get done for the
Oh
day.
yeah, definitely.
We have the Cap Guys here. He says, smash the like button. Thank you guys for coming in and hanging out with us. I wanted to say hey to Ladies Antique Treasures. Jen's
Oh,
Closet
Nancy.
Gems is here. Regina says, I love how genuine Louise is. And let's see, I wanted to say hey to the Hollywood Reseller. The Lone Star Picker was here in the chat hanging out with us. Wendy, Jennifer Hayes, and Sal, and the Flipping Accountant
There
was
you
here.
go.
So anybody else in the chat that I missed today, I apologize. Cali Reseller Luis, man, go ahead and give us your final thoughts. We've had you on the show today for about an hour, so go ahead and give
Mhm.
us your final thoughts, man.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone for coming in today and hanging out with me and Jeff. And I want to thank Jeff for having me on again. I appreciate it. And one thing I want to share with you guys, I'm a dad with 2 kids. I'm a full-time reseller, and I'm doing the whole reselling thing. And I know there's people out there that don't have no kids or are single. I have all this stuff to do, being a father and running a business with the eBay and Macari, doing my vending gumball machines. As you can see, I have a lot of streams of income coming in. You know, what's your guys' excuse? I'm a father. I'm a full-time dad. I stay-at-home dad. I'm a reseller. I'm with my kids all day. And now that they're going to be out of school for summer vacation, I'm still going to continue doing this. And now they're going to be out. They're actually going to get to go with me.
I need to tell you a
What
question. Now our dog is a fry eater. Because she eaten a fry in front of us.
Okay. Like I said, my son pops in from time to time like that. And like I said, you just got to make it happen. You could sit here and make 1,000 excuses. I could make 1,000 excuses why I shouldn't be doing this, but this is my livelihood and I refuse to fail. You gotta
Yeah.
keep that mentality. You gotta keep moving forward.
Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to reach out to Cali Reseller Luis and have him on today is because, this is his full-time income. He's able to buy groceries, pay his light bill, pay his cell phone bill,
Yep.
pay the mortgage, and do all that as being the breadwinner in his household and be able to support his family doing this reselling gig. Because there's some people, it all breaks down to your mindset. There's some
Yep.
people, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're usually right. So I
Yep.
wanted to bring Cali Reseller Luis in. Also, he lives in California, so his cost of living there is not. It's
Yep.
not like he's out in Arkansas or Alabama somewhere or
Yep.
Kentucky
Or
where the
Texas.
cost of living is really low expenses. Like he lives in California, so if he
Mhm.
can do that with 2 kids and still shoot YouTube videos every week and spend time with his family, you guys can do it too. If you're
Yep.
just willing to hustle, there's so many
Yep.
people in the community that's willing to
Mhm.
reach out a hand or do whatever
Yep.
they can to drop knowledge and put you in the right direction. But you're going to have to
Definitely.
want to do it. That's the whole thing. So,
Exactly.
all right, guys. So we appreciate you guys coming on. You guys have a great weekend. check out, tell them about your show you have on Monday. Go ahead and plug your show before we let you go.
Yeah, definitely. On Mindful Merchants this Monday, we have Joy Bada Bing. It's going to be on with me and Louis. It's going to be on Louis' channel, so make sure you guys don't miss out. Starts at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then on Tuesday, we'll have our Tuesday night live auction on my channel. Starts at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So come hang out with us. You guys will, we'll have a good time on Monday and Tuesday. So hope to see you guys there.
Awesome. Yep. I have the links down below. I'll see you guys there. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys probably next week. I may do a listing live this weekend, but I may not. In either case, you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
See you guys. Have a great Friday.